Thanks for joining us once again for your weekly update from the city of New Hope, joined by the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave, on this really, really warm July day.
It is a little toasty.
But it's June.
Yes, we understand, right? This is a little bit of a strange spring and summertime. Let's talk about some of the things coming up in the city. We've got a long list for you today. Let's begin with the election process. It seems a long ways away as well, but really the process begins now. Give us some more information.
Well, New Hope has to have a primary because we have 5 people that are applying for 2 spots on the city council. And so that primary will be on the 9th of August. And you can vote via mail if you'd like, and you can get those ballots starting on Friday, the 24th of June. You can go into City Hall and have some identification with you, and you can get a absentee ballot and vote right there if you want to. You can also vote online. It's a little more complicated, but you can get you can't vote, but you can get your ballot online. It's really easier if you call the city, and they'll even mail it out if they can.
Very good. City's website, newhopemn.gov. A lot of information about that whole process if you'd like to find out more. Let's talk about West Metro Fire Rescue District. They have some important meetings coming up and a planning process going on right now. What are they looking ahead to?
Well, West Metro is the Crystal and New Hope Fire Department. That's combined. So the 2 city managers have been meeting with the fire chief, and they're getting ready for that July 13th meeting. And at that meeting, they will present the budget and hopefully vote on that. They also are voting on officers for the board, and we'll get a report from the police or the fire chief on what's going on. That's such a good relationship with the 2 cities that we want to keep that going when we can.
Very good. We have a long list of items from community development to talk about. And the first is a big project that's coming up in the future. That's St. Teresa. Again, give us a little background, if you could, Mayor, of what this project might look like and what's happening right now.
We're excited. St. Teresa's been in New Hope for a long, long time. They also have campuses around the cities, but the one in New Hope is the one we're concerned about. They're doing a huge project that's going to be at 4 stages. It'll take 6 to 8 years. The last number I heard was about 83 million. And so that's really a big bonus for not only St. Teresa, but for New Hope to have that expansion on their campus. So we're looking forward to working with them on that.
And again, the Community Development Department works with big projects like that, but also projects right down to people's homes. And that's where the Rave Award comes in. They're trying to encourage residents to nominate others. Tell us how the Rave Award program works and what the deadline is.
Well, the Rave Award is when you notice that somebody has done went above and beyond to improve their property, either inside or out. You can nominate yourself, or you can nominate your neighbor if you'd like. And you have until the 22nd of July to get those nominations in. It's really quite a nice way to thank somebody. They'll come to the city council meeting. We announce and we show the pictures of their project, and we also give them a rock that they can put in their garden. So it's kind of a cool thing. It's been going on for a few years, but we need nominations.
Very nice. All right. City's website, please find out more information about that. You see the beautiful golf course behind the mayor, and that will be the spot for a very special golf tournament coming up, the 25th annual event between 2 cities. Tell us more about this opportunity for people to get out and golf.
Well, Twin West used to be the Chamber of Commerce for the cities, for New Hope and Crystal, and now they're part of the Minneapolis Chamber. But we've continued on with this 25th annual tournament. Mostly we get the staff from New Hope and business people from Crystal, but we don't care where they come from. So it's fairly inexpensive to play. You play 9 holes and you have a dinner afterwards, and they have prizes. It's just a fun time, and it fills up very, very quickly. So if you're interested in doing that, you can go online. And if you get confused and you can't find what you need, you can always call City Hall and tell them you want some information on the golf tournament. They'll get you to the right person.
Sounds great. You see address at the bottom of the screen, business.mplschamber.com/events will get you started. And again, look for the New Hope Crystal Golf Tournament and you will be set to go. Curbside appeal reimbursement program. We've talked a little bit about this. Give us any updates there and remind residents what this is.
Well, this is a new program. We're kind of excited about it. So the city will reimburse you 25% of the cost of the project to a maximum reimbursement of $5,000. But to get that reimbursement, you have to fill out an application to make sure that it applies to what we want it to apply to. Basically, it's from what you see at the street. So if you're standing at the street, you're looking at the house, maybe that's a new front door, maybe that's wood panels, that might be pillars, it might be bricks across the front, something that improves the curb appeal. If you're thinking of doing that anyway, it's really kind of nice to get reimbursed a little bit for it.
Sounds like a good plan. Again, more information on the city's website. Let's next go to something we've been following, industrial noise abatement. Tell us again about this business and the process they're going through to help things out.
Well, Dakota Pasta, which is right off of 36th, makes all kinds of pasta. And of course, when you're making pasta, you have to dry it. And when you dry it, you have to have blowers. And those blowers are on the roof. And they get old and they get noisy. And so it's been very noisy for the neighbors. We went over there and checked the sound level. And yes, in fact, they were noisier at night than they should have been. So they ordered the equipment. It's in now, and they should be installing that next week. So maybe, just maybe, those residents can get some sleep.
Very nice. Let's go to scattered site housing. We have a couple updates. Let's first go to the corner of 42nd and Boone. We've been talking about that property for quite some time. What is the latest there?
But there's so much involved that it's really hard to.
Yeah.
So the latest thing is they got a right to entry from the New Hope Church that's right to the north of them, because they need to have those trucks come in to remove some of those scrub trees and some of that buckthorn so they can make the land suitable to put a house on it. So you'll see some stuff starting to help, but it takes a long time because there's lots of different things that have to be done before they actually start to tear the property down. But know it's going to happen, and they'll try to keep it as much contained onto the property as they can.
Very good. And another property to talk about is 46th and Aquila. What is the update there?
Woohoo! That siding is getting put on, and they're closing the end of June. So we're really excited. That house is absolutely beautiful. It looks lovely.
Process continues ahead. Business Networking Group want to remind people of some dates to get on their calendar. When will this fine group get together again?
July 20th, and they moved that out from their normal Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month, because of the 4th of July. So it's July 20th at 3 o'clock at Pocket Square. We're still looking for somebody for the 3rd of August to host. Hosting means you can have cookies and milk, or you can do something else. You don't have to have anything. But what happens is, if it's at your business, you get a chance to show off your business.
Sure.
And the people, there's anywhere from 5 to 25 people there. And it's just a nice thing. So if people want to do that, they need to call community development and tell them they want to do that. So that's the 3rd of August that we're looking for.
Very good.
8:30 in the morning.
Fantastic. Let's move ahead to the police department. Just a couple updates here. One is some community conversations taking place. Tell us about this combination with police and one of the commissions in the city.
So the Human Rights Commission had wanted to have a community conversation, just a conversation in an open place where people could come in and tell the Human Rights Commission what they like, what they don't like, what they like to see changed. One of the police officers is usually there. This was the first one they had at Civic Center Park, and they'll be having more. You can go on the website to see when those are going to be, or they'll be on the reader boards that are all over the city, so you can see where and what time. They're pretty safe to go to, by the way. They break the people down into smaller groups so they can actually listen to what's being said. The Human Rights Commission then transcribes that information, and it comes back to the city manager and the city council. So we know what the people are talking about and what they'd like.
Great process there. One other police note, Meals on Wheels. I take it those efforts continue on successfully.
They do, and they're very successful. So Brad Callaghill, our community service officer, has been delivering Meals on Wheels. When there's a policeman available, the policeman will go with him. But Brad does it when they can't get somebody to go with. And the people that are getting the meals just love to have them there.
It's the time of year where Public Works is very busy. We're going to tell you about a few specific projects in just a second. But first, we want to tell you about the FSG work that's happening in the city, and that stands for flushing, sweeping, and grinding. Mayor, tell us more about these 3 great things that are all happening at the same time.
These guys are really busy. So the first thing, they're going to flush out the hydrants. And what they do is they open up the hydrant and let the water come out. They need to make sure that that water is available in case of a fire. And so the pipes have to get flushed out because that sediment sits in there. Now that water just goes into the street, and a couple people have asked me, well, why don't you just water the lawns with it? It's under such high pressure that it would just blow the lawn away. And so they can't do that. It's kind of like when you empty your pool and that water has to go into the storm sewer.
Right.
It's like that. So
Mhm.
that's the flushing.
Okay.
And, and then there was the
Sweeping.
So we have a street sweeper in the city, and they go around and sweep where it looks like they need to do that. This isn't the annual twice a year sweeping that they do. We hire that out so we can get it all done very quickly. This is just they go around and sweep up where it needs to be swept up.
All right. Then the noisiest part of the process is the grinding. What are we grinding?
We are grinding up these stumps from the ash trees. So once they cut that down, it costs a lot of money to have that done professionally. So we pay somebody to cut them down because very often they're in the way of power lines. And so they get those cut down, but then we have a grinder. So we go around and grind out the stumps. So not really exciting, but it has to be done. And these guys are wonderful at doing it.
They are busy right now. They're also busy with some infrastructure improvement projects, Independence and Bass Lake Road, the two key areas. What are the updates on those projects?
Well, north of Bass Lake Road, they did some water main replacement, and they got delayed with putting in the restoration, the lawns and all the other stuff they do because it rained last week. So they'll be doing that this week. I just want to remind people that once that's in, they have the resident has to take care of that grass. They'll come out a couple times and water, but after about the first week or two, they don't water anymore, and you have to be taking care of that yourself. So speaking of taking care of that yourself, I want to talk just a little bit about the No Mow May. May is over, kids. You need to go out there and mow, because what's going to start happening is they're going to start getting citations for the grass being too long. And that means you need to mow that boulevard, you need to mow that spare lot next to you if you are the owner of that lot, and you need to mow your own lawn. So get busy and get that mowed, because the longer you wait, the harder it is to mow.
And you had a quick travel note for those that might be along Bass Lake Road. Just a reminder here that it's a little narrower than normal and you might want to avoid it. Is that correct?
That is correct. Hennepin County is putting in new curbs and they're making them accessible to handicap. And then when they're doing that, of course, they have to block off the street. So there's only 2 lanes of traffic, one each way, which makes the traffic very busy. If you have another way to go, use it. Don't use Bass Lake Road if you don't have to, because it really is slowing down. So once that's all done, the next thing they'll do is they'll start repaving Bass Lake Road. And then it'll really be narrow, because they'll do half at a time and only 1 lane of traffic again. And it seems like it takes forever, but in Minnesota, it's road construction time.
That's right. That's right. Be careful heading around town. Let's go to Park and Rec, talk about some things that are going on. We've got one for the adults and one for the younger ones. Pickleball and volleyball. What is happening with those 2 great activities?
We're having adult pickleball lessons, and this is the 3rd session they'll be having this week. I don't know when it is exactly. And then the girls volleyball is practicing again. There's all kinds of things going on at the parks. So check the website, check your InMotion for what's going on, but there's just a whole bunch of things that are going on right now.
And we had talked quite a few weeks about the fun in the mud that was coming up. Well, it happened. We've got pictures to prove it here, Mayor, and it looks like everyone loved being in the mud for some reason.
145 participants.
Wow.
And it was a warm day. They had a mud pit, if you will. They were slipping and sliding and going through a little obstacle course. They tell me that even the parents that were there got muddy. But
I'm sure.
I don't understand, but everybody seemed to have a really good time.
That is fun. All right. We'll hope to give you information about that coming back again next year. Hidden Valley Park, we wanted to give people an update on that process and the project that's going on there and some of the delays or things that might happen to change the timeline. Tell us more about what's happened there.
Well, whenever we do this is a 3-part process.
Okay.
We tear the equipment down, and that's done by our public works guys. And then they have to fix the container. So that's like the wall that goes around it or the stuff that's on the bottom. And we contract that out. And then the 3rd part is putting in the new equipment. Well, what we found out was the new equipment isn't going to come till September. So we tried to push out the guy that's doing the group that's doing the container, and they couldn't because they had other things going on. So what's going to happen is the old equipment has been taken out. the container will be fixed, and then it'll just sit there until they get this equipment in, the new equipment. So we're trying, but you know, when there's that many people involved, everything doesn't always flow smoothly.
Very good.
The kitty lot, by the way, is still available for the little ones.
Okay, good. Good to let residents know. Let's head over to the golf course for a quick update. And rumor has it the golf course and the patio area are just about as busy as each other. Who is going to this patio? What's going on there?
Well, the patio, well, it's graduation parties.
Yeah.
So there are also the League of Women Voters is having a picnic there, and Armstrong's trap shooting team is having some banquet there. Besides that and all the graduations, and while this is all going on, golf is going on.
And
So
I
they're
understand there was a sighting on the golf course of someone we might recognize that just might be enjoying retirement.
Well, Kirk McDonald retired the end of the month, the end of May, and he was out on the golf course. And of course, I could see him from my patio, so I had to scoot down there to say hi to him and see how he's doing. He's absolutely loving retirement, so we're so happy for him.
Good for him. Let's head to the ice arena. Again, this is one you think might be slow at this time of the year, but they're as busy as ever as well.
It's unbelievable. Yes, they are. So not only are they having clinics, they're having the high performance teams play there. There's 8 men's leagues that play, plus there's open skating. There's just all kinds of stuff going on in that ice arena all the time.
And let's finally talk about the aquatic park and some of the things happening there. And the fun part about this is the pool normally open later in the day, but in the morning, the place is very busy as well. Who's there in the morning? What's going on?
Well, you can sign up for lap swimming. That's in that 50-meter pool. And they also have swim lessons for the kids. There's some water walking that's going on for people that want to walk in the vortex pool. So the pool is just full of people before the pool opens.
Mm-hmm.
And they all leave about 11 o'clock, and then they kind of clean up after them, and then in come the swimmers. So last Tuesday, we had 1,616 people at the pool. That's just a record.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things they're bringing out, I think they call it a Whitbit.
Yep.
It's an obstacle course in the water, and there's many different parts to it. And so staff will set up another obstacle course every weekend. So that is only available on the weekends.
Okay.
But it's just different every weekend. And I think you've got a picture of that.
Yeah, that looks like great fun. It looks like people would have a lot of entertainment with that. You mentioned the parking situation there too. Again, it does get very busy at times because not only the pool activities happening and the things in the morning, but also the farmers market as well. So it's a busy place on Saturdays.
Well, last Saturday, they had a swim meet at the pool. And so there were all those cars. They also had coach training.
Okay.
And so they were there. And then the farmers market was there. So it was hard to find a place to park. So don't give up on the farmers market because it's not going to be like that all the time. I do want to mention though, on the weekend of the 15th of July, there will not be a farmers market because we're doing a really large tournament. And the reason we do these swim meets is because the swim teams gave us quite a bit of money to put in those extra 50-meter pools. And in that agreement of taking that extra money, we told them they could have 2 swim meets there a year.
Okay.
Well, they had one, and then this big one is coming July 15th. So if you need vegetables, get them the week before. So
Final note I was just going to mention the final note about the pool would be lifeguard positions. So you're still in need of people to help out. Tell us more about that.
We are, everybody's seen that on the news all over the country. They just can't get lifeguards. We had all of our lifeguards signed up, but some of the other cities were offering more money or a bigger incentive, and some of them left and went there. So we're going to relook at that, of course, and see if we need to do that too. But you can't have a pool if you don't have lifeguards.
Very true.
So the lifeguards we have are fine, but we do need some more. So if you're still interested in doing that, now's the time to sign up.
All right, newhopemn.gov. You see the website. You can find out more information about that process and also about the farmers market. Human resources, one quick note here on the CSO process. Give us an update there if you would.
So we had to go externally on that. And I think you can have those applications in. Do you have that date handy?
Let's see if I have got it on. It looks like June 27th at noon.
Yep. So if you're interested in being a community service officer in New Hope, you need to go online to apply for that. And if you can't figure that out, call the police department on the non-emergency line, and tell them you want to apply for the CSO, and they'll tell you how to do that.
Couple final notes. June 19th was proclaimed as Juneteenth Freedom Day in the city of New Hope. Give us a little more background about why that was important for the city.
Well, it's really important. Until everybody's free, nobody's free. And so in 1865, General Roger Granger from the Texas militia went and announced on the 19th of June that the slaves in Texas were free. We're not sure, but we think that was the final state to get that announcement. That proclamation was signed by Lincoln in 1863, so that's 2 years. My goodness. So we do need to celebrate Juneteenth on the 19th.
Final note we want to pass along, an event coming up for your calendar. It is July 8th, and this is the New Hope Crime Prevention Fund Tournament. Tell us why people should get out and golf and why this is a great event.
Well, this is a new thing. We used to, with the Crime Prevention Board, which is part of our New Hope Police Department, what they do is any money that they raise, they're the ones that buy the cameras that go on the poles that overlook the pool. They're the ones that spend the money when they have the barbecues that the police go out and cook hot dogs and weenies. That comes out of that fund. Well, Brad Callio decided he needed a little more money in that fund.
Okay.
So he's trying to do this tournament. Not sure of the price. I think it's about $50, and you get lunch and a round of golf. And all the money that we make from that tournament will go into the Crime Prevention Fund. So if you're entitled, or if you're inclined to just write a check to the Crime Prevention Fund, you might as well sign up at the tournament and play. And that's the 8th of July at the New Hope Golf Course.
Fantastic. And go to the city's website for information about signing up there. You want to go to the police department end to find out more. And the city's website, again, the place for all the information about the topics we touched on today. Mayor, thanks once again for your time. Great to see you as always. And we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave.
And now here's a look at some other events that are coming up in the city of New Hope that you might want to get on your calendar. Learn more about the connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.